Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about some new Wonder Woman 2 news. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any Wonder Woman or DCEU videos in the future. So Wonder Woman, as you guys know, is my favourite DCEU film and one of my favourite comic book films of all time, and I'm super anticipating Wonder Woman 2 and I'm just hoping it's as good, and I have no doubt that Patty Jenkins can deliver a brilliant film, potentially even better than the first film. But today it was revealed in an exclusive from that hashtag show. They always come out with information earlier than everyone else and it ends up being confirmed afterwards, so they are a very reliable source. So this is the information that they have released. So they say production has been slated to begin in the United Kingdom in late May this year, so not very long until we might start getting some photos, and also we'll get some little teasers as the cast actually begin to shoot, and that is around May 28th, it's been said. So the film is said to follow Diana Prince into the 1980s, where she will somehow reunite with Steve Trevor to take on the now dissolved Soviet Union. According to our source, somewhere in that mix will be the classic DC Comics villainess Cheetah. So that is crazy, guys. That little synopsis that they've released, not officially but via some sources, it's been revealed that Steve Trevor's going to be back, and we're going to be talking about this first. How can Steve Trevor come back? So as you guys know, in Wonder Woman, Steve Trevor supposedly died. Although we didn't see a body, we saw his plane that he was in exploding, we presumed he died. So there's many ways. Remember, the rule is if you don't see a body, they're not dead, or you can presume they're not dead. So these are some theories that I have. Maybe it could be something to do with the Fountain of Youth. Maybe they bring him back to Themyscira and they're actually able to revive him, but that doesn't seem as applicable as a lot of these other ideas, and that's just due to, in the future in Justice League, Diana presumably has lost Steve Trevor, and it's presumably what happened here, or it could be that she lost Steve Trevor after this, after he survived, and then maybe it's after this, because remember, this is prior to Justice League, so he can still be alive and he can die again or go away, and the idea that Diana still misses him is still applicable. So number 2, magic. So in the comics, Wonder Woman is full of magical heroes, Cersei being one of the biggest villains that she has to face, being a witch, and also in the comics, Steve Trevor is actually resurrected via the goddess Aphrodite, who actually brought him back to life in a 70s storyline a while back. And so with this being set around the 80s, you would have to presume they're going to take from those older storylines rather than any new ones, considering that Steve has died in the comics, and with this 70s storyline of him actually being brought back to life, maybe they're going to be going down the more magical, the more dark side of the Wonder Woman mythology. And there are many ways to actually go along with this, because remember, with resurrection, like we've seen in the DC TV shows and in a lot of the Batman stuff actually in the comics to do with Ra's al Ghul, when a person can be actually brought back to life, they always have this part of their soul that is not pure anymore. If Steve returns and he's resurrected, maybe in the film we will have to explore how he's actually going to survive past whatever happened to him being revived in this instance. So number 3, time travel. This is probably the best explanation in my opinion, as obviously DC, they are big on time travel. There's so many time traveling heroes. Maybe Wonder Woman could introduce all these time traveling heroes like Booster Gold, Rip Hunter, there's so many, and they can link it into all these comic book storylines, and I think that's the best explanation as of now as to what I would think as to how Steve Trevor's going to return, because Chris Pine is actually set to return, and there's a few other people and we'll talk about them in a minute. But my final theory as to how Steve could return is the multiverse. As you guys have seen in the comics, the multiverse is massive. That is exactly what Crisis on Infinite Earths was about. That's the biggest DC storyline in my opinion, and so there's a high chance that if Steve's returning, he's going to be a different version of himself, and that is why Diana in the future is still sad. Although if this theory is true, she would have met him again, but it would have been a different version of him, and I think that will be really interesting, because DC films have never actually explored the multiverse and it's only been on TV and the comics, so that would be a really interesting route to actually go down in my opinion. So moving on to the next bit, it's been said that Cheetah is going to be the main villain of Wonder Woman 2, and that was my best guess after Wonder Woman, thinking which big Wonder Woman characters could actually be the villains. I thought either Cersei or Cheetah, and it turns out it's going to be Cheetah, so that's really awesome. And it's been revealed it's this version, it's the Barbara and Minerva version, and this is the description of that version in the comics. A British anthropologist who becomes the avatar of the cheetah god after locating a lost city and stumbling into the middle of an ancient ritual, and she is the third character to hold the mantle of Cheetah in the comics. So that is massive. So that hashtag show were actually told that DC were actually trying to get Emma Stone for this role, and I think she would have been awesome, but she turned it away, which is a shame, but I can understand because she's a brilliant actress and maybe she doesn't want to get dragged down with all the backlash that goes towards the DCEU apart from the Wonder Woman film and Aquaman right now. Maybe she just doesn't want to get tied in for a longer contract, and that is part of the issue with these films, because when they start these films you have to be available for these further films in the future to link into the extended universe. So there are so many people that I think would be perfect for Cheetah, and for now I'm not going to pinpoint down anyone until we get some more information, but tell me if you got any theories as to who you want to fan cast into this film as Cheetah. So it's been said finally that Chris Pine, Ewan Bremer and Said Tagmu are all set to return. Sorry if I absolutely butchered Ewan and Said's name. I'm really sorry, I don't know how to say it. But they were both really awesome in Wonder Woman, and their characters were crucial in Wonder Woman's story and how she actually developed, so it's going to be awesome seeing them in the 80s. So obviously they're going to be a bit older because Wonder Woman was set in the past, and so I'm interested to see how they actually look different and how they act different since the apparent death of Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor. So anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.